Glad you could join us. Now, it's been almost 15 months since Martin Amidu was sworn in as Ghana's first special prosecutor. And as some Ghanaians begin to ask what he has achieved in that time, Joy News has obtained exclusive details of cases being pursued by the office of the special prosecutor. Our sources within the OSP have provided details of 25 cases at various stages of progress, including the 275 buses bought by Freddie Blay, the MPP chairman, and the alleged diversion of public funds to finance NDC party research. Various documents in possession of Joy News outline dozens of cases that the special prosecutor is investigating, but after more than a year of operation, only one case has been filed in court. Kojo Yankson gave details a while ago on Newsdesk.
We've seen on the list of 25 one suspected misappropriation of funds and money laundering case which is being investigated against Nana Oye Letha. This involves some properties in Ghana and South Africa. There's also the case of the 275 buses with Freddie Blay that we mentioned, the diversion of funds for party research. There's a double salary case that is being looked into regarding members of parliament and ministers, and Haruna Idrisu, Fifi Kwete, Comfort Doyo Gansa and Emmanuel Kofi Boa are some of the MPs mentioned there. The Bost contaminated fuel case is also being looked into, and the subject of that investigation is Alfred Obing Boateng and George Mensah Oakley. There's a procurement breach case regarding ambulances in Boko, and that revolves around Mahama Yariga. And then a case with a company, a car sales company called Ash Plant Pool, and that involves Mahama Yariga and Kojo Pong Kruma and 8 other members of parliament. These are cases that the office of the special prosecutor, according to our sources, are looking into. And there is only one case on record in which the office has actually proceeded to the point of a court case. And actually that is a case that has been filed just last week, and we'll be sharing.
Now, board chairman of the office of the special prosecutor, Linda Ofori-Kwafo, has been speaking to Joy News' Kojo Yankson and confirms the OSP will soon publish cases under investigation.
I made this argument. Obviously, it's a new, fresh office that has to be set up properly in order for it to be able to execute its functions and mandates effectively. It will need some time to set up properly. So the first 6 months will be the time to put things in place. The second 6 months we're already in, and we are actually now, I'm sure, in the third 6 months. So it is more possible that the office should be able to do something of this nature. I believe in the laws that we have, and I believe we are supposed to work according to the law. So this is a responsibility, and the office must and should do that.
So have you had conversations with Mr. Amidu about it?
The office will do that.
I'm wondering whether you have had these conversations.
There's no conversation.
Chair, and this is something that is dear to your heart.
So dear to the hearts of the board members.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes.
So, yes, is that something that you brought up with Mr. Amidu?
You need not even bring this up. Mr. Amidu also is a seasoned lawyer, and he knows the implications of some of these things, and I'm sure he knows that this will be done.
So what has he said officially about it, about, you know, when he intends?
I think I am the one who has made official comments about this, but I know it will be done. Take my words.
So Mr. Amidu has not said anything to the board officially about when he is going to publish the information?
Try to remember. All I can say for now is that it will be done.
How do you know this? How do you know that?
Could it to be done because I'm a board member? Must Mr. Amidu say it before it will be done? No.
You will ensure that it's done?
Yes, please.
Now, she, however, says the board has not been informed about recruitment of lawyers for the office.
The Act mentions a figure. Currently, the OSP can select how many lawyers. Yes, I I don't have an idea.
Okay, but you know that there are some lawyers who have been recruited?
I don't know.
That's interesting, because you would imagine that is a role to which, you know, you would give some input into the recruitment.
Kojo, I don't have the responsibility to recruit the people personally. The board has discussed the processes and what means we should use to get some people to work in the OSP office. We've had a first board meeting for the year. A second board meeting will be taking place, and there will be a briefing. Any other thing I know has come to my knowledge unofficially.
Okay.
And so I don't have, I can't disclose.
And
Officially,
the OSP is now putting in place mechanisms to recruit some key staff to head, and that is the first step.
Away from that, and Deputy Minister for Education, Yao Osei Educhum, has asked contractors working on classroom projects in senior high schools to speed up and make them available for use by September this year. He says this is critical in phasing out the double-track system. Dr. Osei Educhum has been monitoring the ongoing West Africa Senior School Certificate Examinations, WASI, in schools in the Setre South District of Ashanti region. Nana Sensumenza reports.
Out of 346,098 candidates sitting the 2019 WASI nationwide, 82,401, or 23.8%, are in Ashanti region. The Deputy Minister's working tour covered Adujemfi SHS at Jamasi, Aguna SHS Technical, and Kumasi Girls Senior High School. Candidates were writing their respective papers at the time the team arrived. Chief Director at the Ministry of Education, Benjamin Kofi Jassi, used the occasion to admonish them on exam malpractices.
Because we have faith in them, we are doing that. And they should also have faith in themselves and apply themselves to their course of study. And then those writing should also focus on the examination. Believe in themselves with whatever they've studied. They should just rely on what they've learned. They shouldn't resort to any foul play, because the consequences can be dire for them. The parents have made a lot of sacrifice in addition to the effort the government has also put. The financial sacrifice of parents should not be allowed to go waste. So they should focus, believe in themselves.
On infrastructural deficit in various schools, Dr. Osei Educhum urged contractors working on classroom projects to expedite action in order to finish by the end of August.
Various buildings are under construction across the length and breadth of this country in all senior high schools. So today we are at Adujemfi Senior High School to see the construction that is going on now. When this building is done, what is going to afford Adujemfi Senior High School to do is to eliminate double track from 2 next year. We know the double track began this year. We have Form 1 students who have been double tracked, and next year they are going to be 1 cohort. So for them, their double track journey will be over. I think, given what I see, they are capable, but I'm also going to encourage them to bring more workers so that they can move things fast. You know, things should move faster, because you see they are laying the blocks here. Somebody could have been doing that one too. So we are going to talk to the contractor and the consultants to make sure that this will happen quickly for us.
The Deputy Minister encouraged school authorities to work towards reversing persistent failure in English language and mathematics.
Actually, in some subjects, performance have actually skyrocketed. For example, social studies students have done so well over the years. English and mathematics is where we had a dip last year. Our headmasters whose schools experienced that, we met with them in Accra. They all came back with determination to make sure we can stem the tide and really stop this downward slide and dip in student performance. The way we teach should be changed. Our students should have a say in how the whole classroom discussions go. It should not be a monologue. It should be a dialogue. If you do a dialogue and students are involved in the teaching and learning process, it leads to higher retention of what is being taught.
Nana Asensumensa reporting.
We bring you more on education later, but in the meantime, a family of 5 at Tafo Pankrono estate in Kumasi is suspecting arson in a fire outbreak that razed their shop Wednesday night. Victims allude to stabbing and killing of the head of the family, 52-year-old James Mensah, late March 2019 by unknown assailants. They suspect the fire was intended to kill them to disrupt police investigation. Correspondent Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin is following up on this story and joins me with more. Now, Nuruddin, you have been speaking to this family. Give us a background of this case.
Well, it was in March this year that the head of the family, James Mensah, was attacked. I mean, just some few meters away from his house by some unknown assailants who actually stabbed him and killed him. Actually, what happened was that they had already robbed some people, and they met him on his way to work, I mean, early dawn. So they asked that he should produce his phone for them, which he actually did. And afterwards, we are told that they suspected the man knew them, and so they attacked him and stabbed him, and he died because they knew that the man could be able to identify them, and he could easily report them to the police. And so that was why they attacked him and killed him. And the police started, the case was reported to the police. The police actually investigated and got some 2 guys arrested, whom we are told that they were actually part of those who undertook that killing at Tafo Pankrono estate. And so the family, the woman, the widow, and her children saying that a part of the group members who were arrested were actually after them. They have had information that they were trying to attack them, and so they relocated from where they were staying. I mean, the structure that was burned down on Wednesday night. They relocated from there and went to a different place. So on Wednesday night, around about 10 p.m., they were called that their shop, was set on fire, and so they came. By the time they could reach there, everything had already been burnt down. And so the family are not really happy about what is happening what is happening to them, and they want the police to do further investigation to get those involved. They are suspecting people actually set the shop on fire, and so they want the police to do their further investigation to get these people arrested and prosecuted. But as we speak now, those 2 guys who were arrested by the police would be sent to court. I'm told that they will be sent to court later today, and then police will decide on what next, what line of action they will take against these people.
Now, what have police been saying to these suspicions that the families hold?
Daniel, I didn't hear that.
I'm asking, what have the police been saying, particularly after the family told you that they suspect arson?
Well, I spoke to the CID, the one in charge of the case, earlier today. I spoke to him, and he told me that he was preparing for court later today. And so they have not received, he particularly have not received any report of such from the family. In fact, the woman, the widow, for her, she's actually tired of the case now, because her life is, she tells me that her life is in danger, and so she's no more interested in the case anymore because the husband is dead already. And so because
they sought for police protection.
Yes, that is what they are asking for now. That's what they are asking. They are asking for police protection.
But in the time that they were relocating and what have you, they did not report to the police and ask the police to protect them. For
that, I cannot, tell because the police
They've not given those details.
Yes, they are yet to speak to us on record.
Right.
But the woman said he has not been following the case since the incident happened.
Right.
But the police are saying they would make sure they would get to the bottom of this particular matter.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin. He's following this case for us, Interfo Pankrono. Now, back to education now, and the chairman of the Ghana Education Service, GES Council, Michael Appiah, has condemned the killing of the headmaster of the Salvation Army Basic School at Esiakwa in the eastern region. George Somwa Bosompim was beaten to death by some youth in the area for warning them to desist from defecating on the school compound. Speaking to Joy News' Beryl Ernestina Richter on the sidelines of the launch of St. Augustine's College's 90th anniversary, Mr. Appiah said the police must ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book.
It is the dream of the GES to actually secure all school premises, but it takes money. But we expect the communities also to help make sure that schools' environment are safe. I am sure the head teacher might have reported this, incident. He saw it coming. He reported to the local people, the chief and people, and the assembly people, and nobody did anything. And it's unfortunate he had to lose his life, under this circumstance. We hope by this incident, but of course we insist that the perpetrators are arrested and dealt with by the laws of this country. And then going forward, every school in the district, the assemblies make sure the school's environment are safe so that teachers will also have the peace of mind to do their work.
Still in education, students of the University of Ghana have opposed the possible privatization of some 4 halls in the university over the failure of management to repay a 4.3 million Ghana cedi loan facility contracted in 2008 for the construction of the Hila Liman, Alexander Edum Kwapon, Elizabeth Frances Say, and the G. Nelson aka halls. A lawsuit has been brought against the university by the consortium of banks in the agreement led by CalBank, which ended with an order by the court for the University of Ghana to pay off the accrued debt of 528 million cedis. Joy News' Latif Idris has been interacting with student leadership of the University of Ghana.
8 initiative by the managers of the university to contract some 43 million Ghana cedis for the construction of some 4 hostels here at the University of Ghana campus. Wasn't well managed, as it were, and it's coming back to bite. Sadly enough, it's not biting the managers of the university, it is biting the student body, and they are not happy about the development. I have with me the president-elect and the outgoing president of the University of Ghana.
Yeah, I'm Isaac Ajiman.
Isaac Ajiman is president-elect of the University of Ghana, and you are?
I'm Sylvester Marquez, as president.
So let's start with the president. Why are you raising issues with the privatization of these halls? It's not conclusive yet. These are at the preliminary stages, and already you are raising red flags. Why so?
First of all, good evening. And the reasons why we are raising red flags is I believe that these are issues that started from somewhere. So like you rightly said, management went for a loan some years back, 43 million, fast track, fast forward. This amount has reached as much as 538 million Ghana cedi. I mean, I sit on a subcommittee of council which is on UGEL. UGEL stands for University of Ghana Enterprise Limited. That's the diaspora house. And what has happened is that we've had a lot of engagement with a consortium of banks, and they have even agreed to waiver this loan by as much as 50%, and it's not going to grow again. Now, the issue comes out to say that management is supposed to come in and give a good faith deposit of about 50 million Ghana cedi to start with. We've had a lot of engagement and all, but it looks like management is unable to give that good faith deposit. And the issues is that if management does not show that goodwill, then the consortium of banks will come down to enforce the judgment that the court has granted. And what are we looking at? If Cow Bank and the other consortium of banks are coming to take over, then the issue is going to be that these hostels are going to be privatized. And if they are going to be privatized, then it's going to be like what we see at Pent, what we see at Kampala courts and all. And what we are saying is that at a point in time, we had a word from former President, His Excellency John Evans Fifi Atamils, may his soul rest in peace, who said that government was going to meet university management halfway in solving these issues. So what we are doing is we are calling on government to play the middleman role between university management, between the consortium of banks and the student front, so that we would be able to prevent a possible privatization of the diaspora halls. We believe that at the end of the day, it's a step in the right direction, and we as the SRC wants to maintain a position whereby the hostels would be affordable for the over 7,000 students across the diaspora stretch. And so what we are saying is that we are calling on management and we are calling on government to come in and mediate, and so that at the end of the day we can still have our hostels at very affordable prices and all. And so that's what the whole Save Diaspora campaign is about.
Away from education, a team of security officers at the Tema Port to examine the content of a suspicious container intercepted yesterday. It follows rumors that the container could be holding guns. Port officials have confirmed the owner of the cargo has a permit to take delivery of hunting guns. We are learning that the team of experts is ready to open up the cargo. A while ago, the head of preventive unit at the GRA, Joseph Opon Abuaje, spoke to the press. Right, we'll be hearing from him shortly, but my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is following this story and joins us on the line with more on this. Maxwell, have the experts opened the container now?
Well, yes, Daniel, they've opened the container. What we have here, we have armed military men and personnel of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Navy and Customs here. The militiamen who are here are armed, but outside also, the root house where the inspection is taking place, we have a customs vehicle parked outside, and an Operation Calm Light vehicle also parked outside. There's some military men who are armed also in there. What is happening within the warehouse itself is that we have inspection, and once in a while, intermittently, they pull out, some boxes, and then, we remove some items from it. Just some minutes ago, I saw one of the people being inspected here pull out a gun that described as a pump action, gun. What is happening here is that all those doing inspection are tight-lipped. They don't want to give us any information or details about, what is ongoing now. The only thing we are seeing here is that intermittently they pull out some guns and then they write whatever that is on a page. So basically that's what happening.
And Maxwell, just for the sake of emphasis, they are pulling these guns out of the container.
Well, they pulled out the boxes from the container and they're inspecting the content, of the box. But once in a while, they pull out a gun. And then they'll say, okay, so this is a pump action gun. Then they take the specifics or the details of the gun. They would not give us any information. All they tell us is to wait, but when they're done with the inspection, to give us the full blueprint of their findings. So as it stands now, we really do not know, because we heard from some of the personnel that the importer actually has license to import, or what do you call it, a hunting gun. But what they are telling us if what they've discovered, are hunting guns or not. So we're waiting for the.
Right. Now, these are different from the guns which the armed officials carried in there.
Yeah, of course. These are different. These are different from officials for the military. They came in here to ensure that everything is done in decorum. So they came in with their own. So what is going on is the inspection of the materials of the guns that were imported. Hunting guns, they are told, that were imported. So we are right now waiting. After the findings, here there will be a briefing of the source to let us know exactly, what they discovered. Whether truly the importer actually brought in these goods that he brought in. He had license to do so if genuine. Yeah.
Maxwell, thank you very much for that update. We'll come back to you when there's more, as in the officials are speaking officially. Now, Maxwell Agbagba is stationed currently at the port, and they are inspecting some containers, if you just tuned in. And some items are being taken out of the container, including guns, allegedly. That's what they're seeing now. Away from that, research fellow at the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Michael Appiah, has decried the National Communications Authority's Rambo style of shutting down 2 pro-NDC radio stations in Accra. The 2 stations were shut down for not meeting the NCA's requirements to meet their spectrums. But Mr. Appiah believes the Rambo style of shutdown was unnecessary.
There is a huge number of Ghanaians out there who are asking what has become of Ghana. For them, this idea that we are enforcing the law doesn't seem to really make a lot of sense, because if that is the only mechanism you have available, why do you have to do it at a time when a very important program being carried live was going on? But let me say that if you watch what happened yesterday, it's marks of panic reaction. Panic reaction in this, and it tells me the extent to which this government appears to be, for lack of a better word, afraid of its own shadows. The police had invited the chairman of the NDC. The Council of Elders had decided that we are addressing the press, or the nation through the press. What are you afraid of? Why don't you want the nation to listen to the Council of Elders? Why do you have to pull the plug by trying to shut radio stations?
You seem to be linking the two.
Of course, there is a link between them. There is no doubt about that. You know that XYZ and Radio Gold will carry live what the Council of Elders were going to be saying. And so, in a Rambo-style military fashion, you move in. By the way, if the NCA is being professional and knows its work very well, you don't need to even walk into those studios to shut them down. What is this show of force? It again reminds us of Ayawaso. And these things, as a nation, we are taking for granted, are the signs that began in places like Rwanda, Liberia, and other places. We sit here on radio and TV and we talk about them. It is a form of raising the consciousness of the nation to the gradual descent of our nation. I think that it could simply take one official from the National Communication Authority with a fully prepared ID, go to the management of that station and say, I have been authorized to ask you to shut down for A, B, and C. What is the business of police from the anti-terrorism squad there? What is that business for? I mean, seriously speaking, are the radio stations now war zones for which you need heavy security men and women to go and shut them down? And in this day and age, if you really want to enforce the law, you could sit at the NCA and make sure that those stations don't operate anymore. If you really, really mean to do it and do it properly. In fact, there are apps that can even, apps on your phone that can even interfere with the
So they didn't have to physically visit
Absolutely,
the
they don't have to. I mean, this show of we have power now, so we want to show you where power lies and everything. By the way, I am happy these things are happening. The reason, it is actually making this government very, very, very unpopular.
Our Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amwakwata, says government has directed release of monies to settle debts owed road contractors. A greater portion of an estimated $1 billion is earmarked for outstanding payments. Prince Appiah was at a stakeholder meeting where the minister made the statement and now reports.
Government indebtedness to contractors is a major challenge for players in the industry, as some of whom have threatened to demonstrate. There has even been suggestion for government to legislate on the matter as part of measures to regulate management of such debts. Sector Minister Mr. Mwakwata's deputy Kwabna Owusu-Ediomi says the situation amounts to cost to government due to implication to project execution.
Delay in paying for work done by the contractors, as the chairman rightly so indicated, is also affecting us. The Ministry of Roads and Highways and the government of Ghana is paying huge interest on delayed payments. About 80% of the IPCs that I've had the privilege to go through prior to the Honorable Minister's endorsement are claims on interest on delayed payments. This is very worrying. Whilst we are here, we need to strategize and see what we can do. Huge amounts are being paid in projects as price fluctuations because projects travel beyond their initial contractual completion period. Communities also do not receive the early benefits that these ongoing projects were to give them.
The minister then gave assurance funds are available for payment to begin soon. He spoke at the strategic meeting in Kumasi for stakeholders in the road sector.
And I want to assure all contractors in this country that the president, and for that matter, the government is alive to this responsibility. And I am happy to announce that His Excellency the President has directed the Minister for Finance to give $1 billion United States dollars to mine sector, greater part of which is to go into the direct payment of all outstanding and delayed road.
Coming up in business, human resource practitioners in the banking sector challenged to build capacity in the wake of job losses.